Hi, everybody. It's Colette Baron-Reid. Welcome to this month's Oracle card reading. We're doing a 15-card reading with a Wisdom of the Oracle. It's an energy report, basically. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm giving you a predictive and prescriptive reading of the energies that we're all going to be faced with for the month of November and how to work with them. Before I start, I do want to mention I'm super excited. November 1st is the very first day of my 22 Days of Gratitude sale. Every few days for the first 22 days of November, I'll be putting something different on sale as a thank you for being part of this amazing community. And I'm also going to be donating a portion of every sale to the Humane Society. Keep an eye out for in your inbox to find out what goes on sale. And if you don't get my emails, sign up to ColetteBaron-Reid.com/newsletter. I always have lots of free stuff and interesting things to say and people to talk about and whatever. Just join my newsletter, ColetteBaron-Reid.com/newsletter. And let's see what November has in store for us now. Okay, this month, strap yourself in. We're in for a ride. There is a lot of confronting energies in the month of November. And the purpose of energies that confront us is to enable us to choose better behaviors, do better, be better, and to contemplate what hasn't been healed yet. That said, that's also an opportunity to kind of almost like a Mercury retrograde in a way when you get a chance to reassess and repurpose and redo things. This month is also a bit of a redo month as well too. So the main themes, I'm going to talk about them right now. And we're going to start with the center card that anchors the entire month, which is called a leg up, and it is in the protection position. And it's flanked by two interesting cards, come to the edge and go the distance upright. So when a leg up is our primary card and it's in protection, it asks us to look at how we engage with the word help. Where do we refuse help and why? Where do we refuse to ask for help and why? And when do we need help and when can we acknowledge that we need this help? And why? So the concept of help and connection is really key this month. Now, what's great about this is what flanks it. The storyline goes, if we take a risk and we know that it's not an immediate thing, that we're going the distance, where this is a marathon, not a sprint, it will become easier for us to understand what kind of help we actually need and what kind of help we can actually give. Now, the next three cards are going to describe this in a little bit more detail. These next three cards tells us where we're naturally heading. And it's very interesting that a leg up is in protection here, and the center card of where we're heading is also in protection, which is called Clean It Up, which is all about reminding us that the kind of help is not about rescuing. It is not about doing someone else's work for them. It is not about cleaning up someone else's side of the street and accommodating something that is inaccurate, wrong, or in any way unhealthy, etc. There's a saying in 12-step programs that you should never rob someone else of their bottom, because then they don't learn. So it's that same sort of thing here, that be very mindful of what kind of help, who is the help for, and are you genuinely helping? I think that's the other piece here. And are you expecting someone else to do it for you? The Treasure Island card is beside, which is the concept of poverty consciousness. It's when it's in protection, it says, there's not enough. I'm disappointed. I'm scrambling. If I could manipulate this, could this work, etc. And it's an invitation for us to see through the lens of abundance. What happens when we do other people's work for them, if we overly help, or if we are in any way, shape, or form giving the wrong kind of help, then what happens is that we don't get the result that we think we should get by our help, and therefore we see ourselves somehow as lacking or whatever. So it's really asking us to be very careful the kind of actions that we take when it comes to other people and the nature of the word help. Now, all the glitters in protection is beside it, which is basically if it's not 100%, it's It's likely not 100%. If there's a rotten piece in there, it will be. So that's, again, beside this. It's a real warning about how we're going to work with the energy of November. Really trust that this is a long-term time, that there's a lot of change. I'm going to talk about the nature of the obstacles here next, but that we also have to be very clear about our boundaries and knowing also what we're capable of and what we are not capable of. So this is like also the kind of hubris that can happen when we think, oh, we can go in there and fix things and do things for somebody else. Even when it comes to global things like other countries and things like that, it's really saying, like, back it up, be very cautious when you move forward in the month of November. It's unlikely it's going to be the way you want it to be. Okay, so that said, opportunity to see things differently. I'm going to actually read that because I think this card tells us a lot here. As it says, you're challenged to change the way you see the world and move from a perception of limitations to a perception of abundance. Take a risk, which is this card. Take a risk, for you have nothing to lose except your confinement in a prison of your own making. Open the door to find the abundance waiting for you to claim it. Do you really want to proclaim yourself a victim of disappointment and failed expectations? No. So this is also about being very careful not to distract yourself this month. Also, November is a month where you could go, I don't want to think about that. I don't want to do that. Or like, and oftentimes we can get into enmeshed situations and we don't look at what's going on at home or ourselves. So again, very, very important time to take the risk, set a healthy boundaries, get the help you need, and to be very mindful of the kind of help you're offering others that may not work out the way you think. Now, what's the nature of our obstacles? The inability to rest is at the center of this. And then breathe is also, it's like holding our breath, trying to control an outcome is not in our best interests. It's trusting that the world's chaos and turbulence, etc., is going to be there. And so what your job here is time to go to something better, new, making new decisions, making better choices, but breathing our way through it and taking a deep breath and recognizing that when we become empty wells, we need to replenish. And so therefore the nature of this obstacle is also the way that we get over the obstacle. And this helps mitigate the potential of us choosing some things out of error because we think that we can fix it. This is not a time that you can fix things immediately. This is a reminder that we need to slow down, that the best way forward is to take slow, steady steps, one step at a time, and not rush. Great time for us to slow down and make better choices and ask ourselves, what is the appropriate way to handle this? What's in the highest good for everybody, not just for me? These kind of pondering questions we have to ask ourselves. This is kind of cool. So mending is the best way for us. What's going on kind of behind the scenes that we're not aware of is the invitation to forgive ourselves, to really forgive ourselves, because we did the best we could with what we knew before, but now we know better, so we have to slow down to make better choices. But it's also about forgiving ourselves for being not at peace. Like, I don't know how else to describe that, but it's a really interesting rigidity, the need to control an outcome, and the inability to be flexible when change is required of us. If I were to look at this just even up till now, it's saying, you know what, slow down this month of November. Even if there's chaos and whatever, recognize that we are the only people that can change ourselves and make choices for ourselves, not for anybody else. And we need to give ourselves time to allow for the change to integrate into our lives, that nothing is going to happen fast in terms of our acceptance of what is in front of us so that we can make the change to it, right? So this is kind of an interesting, a lot of upside down cards for this month of November is what I see here. But again, there's some really good cards that mitigate the energy. Now, this is spirit working on our behalf. We're not going to have any problem knowing what's not for us, okay? Not for you is spirits. This is spirit playing chess with us. All right. So when we did the art for this card and Jen and I were talking, I was saying, I want to have a chessboard. I want a fortune cookie on there that says nope. And I want to show the hand of spirit underneath the game board. And so this is all about our partnership with Spirit. And so we are not going to have any trouble figuring out what we're not supposed to do, because that's just helping us, because Spirit's going to say, okay, this is the divine intervention cards. Like, okay, you know what? I'm going to give you some billboards about what's not going to work. So you don't have to worry or wonder about all the things that Colette just said about what could happen in the month of November. I'm going to make it so obvious to you what is not the right choice, that you can slow down and that you can have the opportunity to get back into alignment, and not to be afraid to jump in and do things differently, because by the book is in the protection position, which is awesome. This is always the innovator. I love that when this card comes in, because this is Spirit working on our behalf, going to show us a different way. A different way. So even though the board is stacked, right? It's like, ooh, there's a lot going on here. The cards that were represented by Spirit are like, you know what? Yes, that may be true, but we'll get the right prompts. So the job that we have this month, now that I've seen the full reading, and really looked at how all the parts work together, is to, if we remember how to do our self-care, slow down, watch ourselves around our reactivity, watch ourselves around our impulsivity about jumping in where we don't belong, etc. That's good, because Spirit's going to say, you know what, that's not the good choice. No, we're going to know without a shadow of a doubt. Trust that we will make some good risks, take good risks for the long haul. And another thing is to risk asking for help. This is a really, really good time for us to come together. This is really about coming together in community to find a solution that doesn't exist yet. Okay, so this is about finding a solution that doesn't exist yet, that is in process of revealing itself to us over time. This isn't like an overnight thing. Anyway, yeah, I'm love these cards here. They make me very calm. When I look at these cards, I know personally I'm going to go, you know what? I'm going to really stay in the 24 hours and be very careful how I take care of my health, because I'm seeing this, and also making sure that I'm asking myself, is this the appropriate choice? Or am I trying to people please? If there's any, you know what I mean? So you're gonna figure this out for yourself. I love the forgiveness card being in there in terms of what's going on, that hidden. It's the opportunity to forgive, the opportunity. And it also indicates too, because peace is in the protection and flexible, it could even indicate on a global level that there is a step towards peace that doesn't look like that. So it's the opposite, but will bring the mending. We'll bring an opportunity for mending, and we'll just see what happens in December when we look back on the month. All right. Don't forget, November 1st is the first day of my 22 Days of Gratitude sale. I'm going to read it again every few days for the first 22 days of November. We're going to be putting something different on sale as a thank you for being part of our amazing community. And I'm going to be donating a portion of every single sale to the Humane Society. And keep an eye out in your inbox to find out what goes on sale. And if you don't get my emails, you should really hang out with me on my newsletter, ColetteBaron-Reid.com/newsletter. So you can find out about all the amazing things that we do. All right, take care and have a happy, happy month. And I'll see you for the Astro Oracle next.